Alright, welcome back from that break. If you're just joining us, a sports personality on Atlantic Television Network, and today is a beautiful Saturday morning where we'll look at some of these issues. Ekpo Temple is my name, and I have joining me live in the studios to look at the personality that we shall profile this morning is Mba Agokalo. Mba Agokalo is an AIMBA international, and of course one who has played the beautiful round leather game, and one man who understands the workings of the Nigeria Premier Football League. And so when you talk about Coach Fidelis Ilechukwu as a man to profile this morning, he is one man who should give us a better insight to how this man has traversed. Mba, you're welcome to Atlantic Television Network.
Thank you, Ekpo Temple. I'm happy to be here.
And besides, of course, as an international, a man who has also played the beautiful leather game here. When you talk about home-based coach, what is the, I mean, when you look at, when we talk about home-based or indigenous coaches or indigenous players, how does that interest you, you know, as compared to talking about club football and all that?
Yeah, Temple, you know, I always tell you, your own thing is yours. You understand? You know, home-based coaches, like I always said, it's good to encourage them. You can see what is happening in the NFF arena, you know. So I think Ilechukwu, with his history and all he has done, I think he's a man that opportunity should be given to him, you know. We know his intricacies about this game, and he has so much passion. The love for this game is wonderfully accumulated by him. So if you ask me, I was okay. That opportunity should be given to him. I know as time goes on, we'll dive into his achievements.
Formally, and of course, but let's start from the milieu. Fidelis Ilechukwu, often referred to as the working one, was born in Lagos, Nigeria, from a humble beginning. He grew up with a deep passion for football. His love for the game eventually led him to pursue a career in coaching, where he quickly gained a reputation for his tactical acumen and ability to inspire players. His rise through the ranks of Nigerian football has been marked by hard work, resilience, and an unwavering commitment to developing young talent. Fidelis Ilechukwu is a coach. He is from the eastern part of Nigeria, and of course one man who understands the workings of all the regions in Nigeria. He has coached in the east, in the west, and he has also coached in the north. What a formidable, dynamic coach it is. So this is basically from his background. I read up Mba.
Yes.
He's one man who has coached in diverse environment. He has coached in the east, has coached in the west, and so he understands what it means to be, I mean, a true nationalist when it comes to football arena.
Yes, Fidelis, you've said it all, you know. You knew when he started with the Mountain of Fire. That is about 2019. Who were Mountain of Fire?
True.
That was their first time. I mean,
a church club.
Exactly. And Temple, there are things, if I tell you, you'll be very, very surprised. I remember when the Mountain of Fire came to play one of the MPFA League at Yakubu Gowon Stadium there in Elekoya. Temple, you know, these people have strategies. You know, there's a way they mobilize their church members with, do I say church band? I realized that they use their church band or wherever they convert them to their fans. Any part of the state they go to play MPFA League. I was very surprised that day. Temple, these people clapped and want to clap out people from the stadium. They use clapping of hands to intimidate their opponent, and I mean everybody was shocked in the stadium. Their style of beating the band is endless, you know. So that intimidation, and people have this impression that Mountain of Fire will pray you out in the football game, and whatever that comes with it, Mountain of Fire will use prayer to ban you and cast you. And I think, if you ask me, they succeeded, because from history you see they finally went to Continental around that period with Fidelis. Fidelis is a man that that opportunity should be given to him, if you ask me.
That opportunity, of course, should be given to him, and of course I will delve into all the clubs one after the other and how far he has excelled, you know. But Fidelis Ilechukwu is beyond the fact you knew him as a coach. He's a father, and sometimes, like many sports personalities, it is difficult to really get to know about their family lifestyle. Why is it that some sportsmen do not unveil openly, or some celebrities don't allow people get into their homes. Like, you don't get to know anything about their homes. They just, all you know is that career, whether in music, whether in sports, whether in football. Same thing with Fidelis Ilechuku. You will never hear him talk about, you never see his family picture or anything about his family. It's just about him and him alone.
Yes, if you ask me, I will tell you it's African mentality, because when you look at the coaches in Africa, sometimes in Premiership, La Liga, some of these European club side, you see them at the end of year, if there's an achievement,
they come with
they come with their children, their wife. You see them in the stadium, they hug and handshakes and celebrate with their father. But you don't see such in Nigerian league. It's very difficult. Do I say it's part of things here in Nigeria, and people try to protect their interests, their family, and the rest of it? Well, if you ask me, I don't think that's the best of life. As a coach, as a celebrity, you need people to really know about you and, I mean, digest you. I think these are things we should also look into and start happening, because if I know you as Temple Ekbo, I should know about your background, family background, because you are known with the public. You're a public figure. So I think family status should be included, and that's one of it.
That's one of it. Of course, we're still profiling that man, Fidelis Ilechuku. Let's take a look at his coaching career and look at what has been of him. We'll talk about his background a little. And of course, he has a wife, he has children, and they are doing well in different startups. Don't forget, like I said earlier, he was born in Lagos. He hails formerly from the eastern part of Nigeria. And he's one of the coaches, or one of the few coaches that have coached teams across the breadth and length of Nigeria. And that also makes him very dynamic, because some coaches cannot coach I mean, if they leave a region, they cannot coach elsewhere. So they are just you know, stagnant in a particular region. For them, I know coaches who are good in the Western clubs. They move from one Western club to another Western club. For example, in the MPFL, we have coaches who, when they move from Sunshine Stars, they'll go to another club, you know, in the West. And just maybe
like for instance, Kennedy Boboye is one of them, who has coached in Kano Pillars with achievements all the way from the northern side and moved to Aqua United. You remember sometimes? So this is exactly what you're saying. It's not so easy for you to excel in the northwest south of the football here in Nigeria, you know. So Ilechuku is a man who has done it in Lagos, and here he's in Rangers, you know. So it's a very big achievement for him, and we are really looking up to him, because Enugu Rangers is in the continental battle.
Of course, Enugu Rangers will be the signature of all eyes, especially on the show today, where we shall beam some spotlight on Enugu Rangers, looking at the prospects, the level of achievements, and what next as the Nigeria Premier Football League get started today. But let's still profile this man, look at his background. I did mention earlier that in his coaching career, Fidelis Ilechuku began his coaching career with Mountain of Fire and Miracle in Lagos. He took charge of the club at a time when it was relatively unknown in the Nigerian landscape. And through his leadership, Mountain of Fire not only gained promotion to the Nigerian Premier Football League, but became a competitive side in the league. His work with MFM was also characterized by his focus in nurturing young players and building a cohesive team for the ground up. In 2019, after a successful stint at Mountain of Fire and Miracle, Ilechuku was appointed head coach of Heartland. I want to pause it there and come back to you, Mba. At the time when he took over as the coach of Mountain of Fire and Miracle, nobody knew MFM. Like you said,
exactly.
They are just a club from the NNL.
Exactly. Who
got promoted. Whether they bought the slot, I don't know, even nobody. Somehow they got promoted to the league.
Yes.
And then, because of the cordial relationship he had with Odukoya, who is the of course the general manager, general overseer of the church.
Exactly.
He became the coach. From a church club, Mountain of Fire and Miracle became a formidable team with good style of play, like you said, good fan base. So I asked, at what point, how do we structure? I mean, how was the discovery of Ilechuku as a coach? That was a high point. But are there coaches that are still very good that haven't been discovered? Like players who say, until they are spotted out, they are discovered. Do we have coaches who are still struggling like Ilechuku before he was discovered? that, you know, that needed that help or something? How does coaches, or let me just put it, how easy or difficult is it for a coach to be discovered like Ilechukwu?
Yes, first and foremost, you must have what it takes. I always tell you, footballing, when it comes to internationally and locally, it's about finance.
Okay.
If the proper materials, you know, if the finance is there, I think, and you have the basis, you know, firstly, you must have your coaching certificate. Like these days, without coaching certificate, you are not allowed to coach. That's by the Coaching Association of Nigeria, you know. So what I'm saying in the sense that those bases must be there. And I will tell you the truth that the General Overseer of Mountain of Fire has put his best, the mind and everything to really sponsor this team and give them all they need to excel. And they did. So it's about motivation. Motivational factors, which is finance. Tempo, if the finance is there, you are able to gather and get the materials. These are reasons why we should have academies. As your older team is progressive, the academy will replace the outgoing players. Fortunately, if your players are able to secure a club outside the country, you know. So these are bases that helps you to move on. Fidelis, if you ask me, was given the necessary support while he was in Mountain of Fire in 2019. And you saw how far he took that club. And Tempo, that man has made history, because this is the first time I hear a church club. You know, those days, you know, we have banking clubs, like ACB
club,
those
ACB,
days.
Yes. First Bank.
We had First Bank, name it, so much and so on and so forth. We had the Adewale Bridge Boys. That is Julius Berger Football Club in those days. Tempo, distance, they've all crashed. And you see that 90 to 95% of MPFA club side, they are owned by the government, and this is why it's difficult for things to go the way to go, because there's an input and nothing is expected back. Do you understand? You know what I'm talking about. Sure. So what I'm saying in the sense that Ilechukwu has gone far and wide. He, out of nothing, he boosted Mountain of Fire's progress in the MPFL, and you saw the seasons he was there, he did well. And based on his accreditation and all about it, he was able to move to Rangers Football Club. And if you look at his history, you can see that over 300 matches in MPFL, and he has won 50% in home games. So what we're talking about? And yes, Tempo, I know we are still coming on. And,
we'll get to the level.
Thank you.
But truly, is I mean, his style of play, we'll get to his style of play where we'll talk about him. But for Mountain of Fire, he moved to Heartland, like I said, where he continued to build his reputation as one of Nigeria's top coaches. Now, his ability to adapt to different teams and challenges was very evident in the way he improved the performance of Heartland FC during his tenure. Although Heartland FC, his stay there did not last for a very long time, but in 2003, he moved to Enugu Rangers, or Rangers International of Enugu, and then he continued his drive to make history with the club. His appointment was seen as a strategic move to restore the club to its former glory and maintain its status quo. Don't also forget that before that time, he has also moved to Plateau United. From Heartland, he moved to Plateau United, where he coached the side for some time, did so well, came second, you know, at some point. I think, yeah, came second at some point, and then also before he now finally moved to Enugu Rangers. His first stay with Enugu Rangers, he won the league. The last time Enugu Rangers won the league after he stayed 33 years was when a certain Imama Mapakabo won the league with the side, you know, years back. And then the second time now is this man. Enugu Rangers have been dabbling. They've had mixed fortune, upset, you know, before his appointment. But he came into the side, looked like a coach that would revive the side, and of course, you can see that Enugu Rangers are now in the continent. And apart from being a prestigious team, they've also won the first leg of their preliminaries in the CAF Champions League. So, you look at Enugu Rangers, look at Fidelis Ilechukwu, you just know that this is a man who understands, who knows his onions, and who knows how to go about it.
You know, like I always tell you, good things doesn't hide, I know. If I may say something, a coach who went to MPFL side in his first season and he won the league, leading his club to a continental battle. CAF Champions League, you know. Though we know the ups and downs and the saga in that MPFA playoff, where they had Enyimba, my former club, Enyimba Football Club of Aba, against Enugu Rangers in Enugu. You know, you saw all that happened, and it was like how do I put it? A film called Jack the Giant Killer. So you saw what happened in that match, you know, but gloriously Rangers won that match, and you can see where they are today. Elochukwu is a man who has made name and made history. People might think we are here to hype him. No. You see, when you see good thing, you just have to say it, you know. The man has done well, you know. If you ask me, his formation of play and his tactical play in the MPFA League, he's a man that plays attack and defense at the same time. His formation is something to talk about. Elochukwu has this formation of 4-3-3-2, and you know what it means. So such coaches should be applauded, and given that opportunity, let's try such coaches in the NFF. You can see the saga. I don't want to really delve into that tempo. You see, if you ask me, NFF. You know the news on ground.
Maybe they need a player like a coach like
exactly.
To move on.
So we are hoping. You can see he has won his playoff, probably due to a long time absence in the continental battle. Now they were programmed on prelim, which they did so well at Uyo, and they have now been grouped. If you ask me, Enugu Rangers remains the second club in Nigerian history with the most laurel and trophy in Nigeria. You can attest to that, you know.
Sure.
After Enyimba, the next team is Enugu Rangers. I know that was far back sometime, but if they've been consistent, I think they would have gone past Enyimba on that trophies.
Of course, we'll see looking at that man, Fidelis Ilechukwu. We're going to short break now. When we come back, we'll look at his coaching styles and formation. We'll also preview his statistics, level of achievement in the league, and then his future prospect. And of course, the big question is, should Fidelis Ilechukwu be given the charge? Can he coach the national team? These are some of these interactions that we shall have when we come back from this short time. And it's still sports personality here on Atlantic Television Network. welcome back. I see sports personality here on Atlantic Television Network. And if you're just joining us, we are profiling Fidelis Ilechukwu, the coach of Rangers International of Enugu, and a man who, of course, had stint with Mountain of Fires and Miracle, Heartland Football Club, Plateau United, and now he's with Enugu Rangers. And I tell you for sure, he's one man who a lot of credit has not been given to him. I mean, some will say that with what he has achieved, but he has not gotten that plaudit, that applause, that ovation that he deserves. But if you look at the contemporary coaches, you can barely mention 5 coaches now in Nigeria without mentioning Fidelis Ilechukwu.
Yes, just like you said, Tempo, I know you might say when he will receive such ovation, probably when he has been appointed as the Super Eagles coach, you know. If you ask me, there's no harm in trying our local coaches and the rest of it. Ilechukwu is a tactician, if you ask me. Looking at his history, where I respected him so much is at Mountain of Fire, you know. Bringing that team, MFM, Mountain of Fire Football Club, from nothing to somewhere. I can't imagine you coaching a church club.
It's difficult.
From church club, NNL, and all the way to MPFL. And even taking them to continental side. I mean, what history talking about that? You know, it's not an easy task, Tempo, within a very short time. Do you understand? So these are things these are highly placed tacticians, coaches that has gone far and wide, and you see, despite the ups and downs he would have faced during this period, but he has gone so far. And Fidelis Ilechukwu is a man who applauds so much. I mean, he gives his player that time. He interacts his players friendly. You see him talking one-on-one, knowing the in-depth of each and every players of his club. If you ask me, these are very core reasons that makes him who he is today. You know, you must have that relationship with your players. When they are happy, yes, when they are happy, they are upset, and make sure finance is always on the side, because without finance, Tempo, these players, yes, you know what it means. Any slighted chance, you see them leaving the club.
Fidelis Ilechukwu is known for his tactical flexibility and innovation. His approach to coaching is one that is distinct. He is not tied to a single formation or style of play, but instead adapt his tactics based on the strength of his players, like you said, and the challenges posed by the opposition. So his formation or the strategies of every game he plays is dependent on what the players can do, his own players, knowing the strength and weaknesses of the players, also knowing the formation of the opponent that will be deployed. So sometimes he deploys a 4-3-3 formation, you know, that emphasizes the high pressing and quick transition. This approach allowed his team, you know, to move higher and, of course, try to see how far they can press. You know, he also had this compact 3-5-3 formation at the Enugu Rangers, and, of course, experimented that so much, would provide defensive solidity, you know, while allowing his wing back to push forward. He also has the counter-attacking method of pushing forward, depending on the opponent. Ilechukwu also utilize the 4-4-2 formation, you know, that focuses on solidity and then defensive base and also counter-attack. This tactics has been successful against teams that dominate possession. So Fidelis Ilechukwu basically adopts his formation and style based on the strength of his players and then the nature of the opponent that he's playing. Yes,
in Enugu Rangers, Fidelis had this formation of 3-5-2, meaning that you have 3 defenders, 5 midfielders, and 2 fast attackers, you know. And his concentration is mostly on the midfield, because Tempo, you have to be able to cross the midfield before you can approach the attack. I think that really works for him, and you can see where he is today. And coming back to his style of play, when you ask me, Tempo, formation in football depends on your opponent, just like you said. You see, when you start a football game, you can see that in 5-10 minutes, 15-20 minutes, you can be able to change from the original formation you came with, depending on what you are seeing your opponent. For instance, you have a fast defending player who has speed in the attack, and you now see that your attackers do not have such speed, it means that the defender will always cut off the attacker because he will quick to approach the ball before the attacker arrives. So that will make you have a change of formation, probably bringing in a fast attacker to be able to match up with a fast defender so that the game can be balanced and you now think about winning the game. So Ilichukwu applies all these formations based on opponent, and that has helped him a lot. And if you ask me, he's a very good custodian of tactics, formations. So he reads the game and he knows what tactics he's going to apply depending on opponent. So it's a coach that, if you ask me, that opportunity should be given to him as a Super Eagles coach, because as it stands now, he is the only one I've seen as the point man who can oversee Super Eagles. I know every team is a mafia, you know. So, but if you ask me, he will be able to do something very, very surprising.
Now, with the level of achievement, you know, that we've enumerated earlier, do you think that he's underrated or he has underachieved to the level of not being recognized by the NFF?
I don't think so, but you know, we have this saying that says a prophet is not always respected in his hometown, because you know his father, his compound, and where he's from and how he started. But if you ask me, you see, we don't really have that so much respect for our local coaches. Reason because they are not white men, you know, and probably how they started, just like I rightly said, you know. So you see, if we give them that encouragement, okay, for instance, you saw when Finidi came in as a Super Eagles coach. Now, if you ask me, compared to his wages and the white man wages, you saw the differences, and you see, this demoralizes. Give Caesar what belongs to Caesar. If I want to mobilize you, give you all you need, so that if there's failure, you can see that my hands are clean. You have nothing to hold back because everything was given to you. But
sometimes the coaches accepted. Sometimes, okay, like now, the prestigious job of the Super Eagles coach. If Fidelis Ilichukwu is called to the negotiation table and he said, okay, we're going to pay you 15 million naira every month, he accepts it. He accepts it like Finidi George, because to him, there are other things better about. I mean, being the coach alone gives you a lot of pedigree. So I think it's about that negotiation strength. Were they forced to pen down? Like Finidi George, was he forced to pen down, you know, the dotted lines? I don't think so. I think that they look at their capacity. Okay, they just want to get a job, without knowing that that job comes with a lot of pressure. So, and sometimes too, don't you think that if Ilichukwu gets the appointment, for example, as the Super Eagles coach, and then, I mean, we've had plethora of history where our coaches have not lived up to expectations. So that could also be the reason why the NFF thinks that, okay, you see home-based coaches, they don't have the respect demanded from the players, and so the players don't give their all. Okay,
I've been into the game, and I know what it takes.
Okay.
You see, sometimes you hear people saying the players has money more than the coach. Will they respect the coach? Do you understand? You know, the local coaches are always underrated. I must tell you the truth.
So why are they underrated?
So many reasons. The reasons are because, like I told you, prophets are not being respected in this hometown. 1, 2. You see, comparing their wages to that of a foreign coach, therefore the gap is a very big milestone. Very big milestone. You see, let me tell you, finance is motivational. I always tell you this. Tempo, there are certain amount that can be given to you. You will be sleeping and thinking about this game, how to win this game, who is coming and who is going. This is what happened in our last game. I mean, your brain will be, you're going to be running head-skater, thinking of how to succeed. If there's any reason, whatever that will make you fail, you try to avoid it. But if peanuts is being given to you, after all, some people, I don't think anybody want to go to Super Eagles to just go and answer the Super Eagles coach and just come out. You want to have an achievement because from the local coaching here, just like Amunike and Keshi, the rest of them, they coached internationally in some of the African countries. Do you understand? So if Fidelis Ilichukwu want to achieve such milestone, you also have to give him what it takes. So finance is 100% part of it. So you see, sometimes we accept whatever that is being offered to us because when you go back to look at your bank account, you don't even have such money. Do you understand? So, for instance, you have 500,000 or 1 million in your account, and they say every month you are going to be giving 15 million. Oh, yeah, your head will be swelled, and I mean, you know what it means. So, what I'm saying in the sense, therefore, you see, finance is motivational, and let's what is meant for them be given to them, and now ask them why they couldn't deliver. Do you understand? So I don't want to tell you and all that dives into NFF and you saw the stories last night and probably last week.
Yeah, Bruno Labbadia.
Yeah, how Bruno Labbadia will be appointed as Super Eagles coach. So much news tempo. The man has been appointed and this, that. You see, the man is here to put down his pain for Super Eagles. But
what was it now? I mean, announced to have been appointed.
That's what I'm telling you. The man is here to pen down, to put his pen down for Super Eagles and Super Eagles coach. But the story is that the man has been contracted. Now, what happens? Just last night, so much stories. How
the tax law in Germany.
How the tax law in Germany, Super Eagles pay the tax and the rest of it, this and that, and the man walked away. You know. Only to get an NFF press conference saying that Eguavon has gone back, has been appointed as the Super Eagles coach. And you see, we always go back front. We don't even know where that NFF is like termites pursuing to meet their queen. Do you understand? And getting there is a very big problem. Tempo, how long has it taken? Finidi left as Super Eagles coach, resigned, and the struggle for getting a foreign coach, only for us to have a foreign coach. The news is Nigeria has gotten a foreign coach. Tempo, I don't want to go far into this. Remember, Super Eagles is going to be playing Benin Republic in New York next week, Saturday. Okay. And you know what it takes. As at this point, a week to this match, Nigeria do not have a coach. How are we going to win the match? And remember, we have a very strong competitive winning matches strategies in the sense that we have 6 matches to qualify for the World Cup. Am I right? Correct. And like Alan, 3 is away and 3 is a home. Tempo, what is the magic? Who is the magician? Is it Eguavon to win the 6 matches, 3 home match and 3 away matches? And you know the countries we are playing to. Tempo, can you beat your chest that Super Eagles is going to qualify for World Cup? This is a question I'm asking you, and I expect an answer. Can you beat your chest?
But are you not saying that if a man like Fidel Ilechukwu is at the helm of affairs of Super Eagles, all this will be achieved?
Temple, remember how Finidi was appointed? Just a very close time to the 2 matches we couldn't really meet up with that gave us this setback. You saw the time frame. That's what I'm talking exactly. Yeah. Now, look at the time frame again. If you say we are to appoint Fidelis Ilechukwu, even when you bring a foreign tactician, that man will not do magic within 1 week. How are we going to win Benin Republic without a coach? Even if you have the white man was to come, but what time does he have to put this team together?
But is there a law that allows the Super Eagles to appeal to Rangers? For example, if Ilechukwu is the man with the magic wand that we need to revive the team for a short period, is there a law that allows any good Ranger, NFF to say, okay, any good Rangers, please borrow us, Ilechukwu, let him act in the capacity of using a Guavon? Well, would that have been possible?
You can take a horse to the stream, but you cannot force the horse to drink the water.
Okay.
Now, it's individualistic, reliable, if you ask me. Ilechukwu has the right to say, no, I want to concentrate on my club side. It's personal. You can offer me a job. I tell you, sorry, I don't need it. This is where I want to be. But on the other hand, that's a big offer for him. He might not want to actually reject it. You know, he must want to go and try it. But if you ask me, Tempo, if I'm Fidelis Ilechukwu, I won't want to move to Super Eagles because the tax you are giving me, that's the instance I've just given you with Finidi George. Look at when he was appointed. Look at the 2 crucial matches he was asked to play. Okay, his might be different because he has been working with Pesero and it's assumed that he's in that line. But, you know, if I'm Fidelis Ilichukwu, I will not want to go because I have a very short time frame. And he has never been in that Super Eagles arena, in the coaching crew and the rest of it. So, you know, Temple, when you are given a big rock to carry, you know, you start thinking far. You know, so it won't be an easy task. If such will be appointed for him, if I were a Ilichukwu Fidelis, I would have asked for time. Do whatever you're doing with the Super Eagles. Give me time to come and administer my professionalism on the Super Eagles.
All right, we're still looking at Ilichukwu and the national team. Now, let's move away from that now. Let's talk about the focus for this season. The Nigeria Premier Football League will get started this evening. And, of course, Fidelis Ilichukwu will once again want to lead, you know, Rangers International to defend the trophy they won last season. The MPFL game between Rangers International and Academy Warriors, the winners of the Federation Cup, will be staged today in Enugu, and of course it's a home game for Fidelis Ilichukwu. How do you think he should approach the new season with his tactical abilities?
Well, I think they've been fully playing tournaments and the rest of it. So if you ask me, he will be ready for the game. So I will not see any upset around him. I think Fidelis will be out and to maintain his record and how it works for him.
And of course, if you look at Rangers, you look at the way they've gone about their activities in the league, it does tell us that they have to do everything possible. Look at the way the government have also I mean, supported them. You also see the man, what's his name? The man who is the GM of the club. You know how he has also supported Ezeaku, who has also supported Fidelis Ilichukwu's drive, and of course a lot of money, like you said, has been pumped in. Players' salaries paid on time, players' bonuses paid on time. So players are energized, you know, and for him, he believes in getting the right players and you get the right result. That's one philosophy adapted by Fidelis Ilichukwu.
Yes, every coach will want to start well at the beginning of the season. And if you ask me, just like we said, I think that's full support from the Enugu state government is going to be a very big one for them. And everything, if you ask me, will be given to him so that there won't be any excuses. So we are looking up to Rangers. Let's see what they can do in the local league before they move to their continental battle. It would be nice if Enugu Rangers can boost the chances of Nigerian club continentally. You saw what happened. If Rivers United didn't go past the level they were, by now, Nigeria would have just have 2 MPFA club side in the continental battle. But as God may have it, they redeemed that 4 chances for MPFA club continentally. So I think Ilichukwu and the rest of them, Enyimba and the rest, they should do as much as they can to keep that faith and more slots for MPFL side. So, and I also want the management league to also see how they can improve so much, especially on the officiating of matches, because I learned one of the stadium in Nigeria is going to have as soon as possible, and I pray such thing comes to play, and that will really improve our leagues and also make our referee a world class.
Now, if Fidelis Ilichukwu, let's assume that he goes far in the Champions League, do you think that he will be thinking of leaving the shores of Nigeria to a better league out there?
No, why not? You see, he has the chances based on his records.
Okay.
So I don't doubt such progressive movement outside the country. I think it's going to be a good one, and I'm surely telling you that he will be offered such jobs, and he will do well. I pray this season comes out gloriously for him.
Now, before we wrap up conversation here, let's take a look at some of his philosophy. He has come out to say that football is not just about tactics, it's about understanding the minds of the players. He also said that we have to work with what we had. It's a journey of faith, resilience, and teamwork. And he also has said that Rangers is a club with history, great passion, and the loyal fans. And so these are some of the quotes he has talked about in some of the interviews that I've heard him speak. But let's talk about the new season. Enugu Rangers as a team to beat. You are a former player of Eyimba Football Club, Mba. Yeah. And I know that in your heart you have Eyimba, well placed. So tell us, the new season, what does it hold for Eyimba?
Well, Eyimba has deployed strategies, because you can see Kanu Nwankwo remains the
chairman of the club.
Yes, so so many things has been put in place, and I promise that their first continental battle there in Uyo Stadium, I'm going to be there. But as it stands, Temple, Eyimba has the history and they have the players. That name is a whole house name, continentally and locally. So you don't undermine Eyimba Football Club. They have what we call recruiting strong base of highly placed MPFL players, and they are always outstanding every season. Watch it on this season. Eyimba will surprise you. I'm not just saying because it's my former club, but I'm telling you that name Eyimba Football Club rings a bell anytime, anywhere. Continentally, whatever face Nigeria has continentally in Africa, I tell you, take it anywhere, it's Eyimba Football Club. And this time around in this league, you're going to see...
But Olerewaju is a new coach.
Yes, exactly.
No longer Finidi George.
Exactly.
And so when you look at the effort of the players, the likes of Victor Mboma, who spearheaded the goal-scoring activities of the team, has just left the club. And not just him alone, some other players also have left the club. So you ask, who are the players that will stand tall for Eyimba? They play away from home next week, against Beyond Limits. So do you think they can challenge Enugu Rangers, where we have a coach, an outstanding coach like Fidelis Ilochukwu?
Football is about mentality,
winning
mentality. Most coaches don't want to lose games, but be it as it may be, they don't want to lose any game. And Eyimba is faced with so much things to be in place. New coaches, old players. Victor Mboma, I think he was the highest goal scorer in the league. And you can see that most of the Pro League players, they've left the club. But Eyimba has one thing in mind. The way and manner you see players spring up from that club, even when they are new. That's why I always tell you, every player in Nigerian league wants to play for Eyimba because it's a gateway to the continental club side. Do you understand? So every season, Eyimba is always up to task. I am telling you the truth. So that's something about that club I always tell you. Yes, whoever they are playing as the opener, the game is always there. And if you ask me, it's going to be a very competitive game. Now, people are looking up to Enugu Rangers and Eyimba Football Club.
Exactly.
Now, these are two giants. You saw how they went during the playoff, and now they have come back again continentally and in the league. Tempo, when you put one or two, I will tell you that who has the history and the most trophies in the archive will prove you wrong.
Okay, let's hope that Eyimba will prove us wrong as time goes on, because Mba is an advocate and a strong, not just a doye, not just an S-player. He has strong passion for his football club, Eyimba, where he was an SY player, back then. And of course, but before we leave, transfer season is on in the English Premier League. Victor Osimhen, where lies his hope and chance?
Tempo, I've expected this question long ago, but I was surprised. The stories that moves about. Tempo, when the transfer window firstly began, we heard he was moving to Arsenal. The next thing, Chelsea, and the rumor keeps dangling and the rest. And if you ask me, there's something about Osimhen in Napoli, which we are yet to get because we are not there. Sometimes the news is always here and there. Now, we learned that Osimhen said he wants to leave Napoli weeks ago. And the next story is that Chelsea is buying Osimhen. After a few days, I had a club in Saudi Arabia, Al Ahly, something like that. They have pinned down the fees and everything about Osimhen. Tempo, I was surprised. Just few hours last night, the news became that Osimhen has gone back, or is now again in Napoli. So Osimhen will be playing for Napoli. I don't know how true is that. So I sometimes start feeling so sorry for Napoli, for Osimhen. His mind is not settled. Where am I going to? Are they buying me? Am I remaining? And the rest of it. If you ask me, if you're a player and I have made up my mind to leave my club, it means that my spirit and mentality and everything is out of that club. Sending me back is like going back to eat what you have dropped on the ground. So you know what it takes. So what I'm saying in the sense is that I don't want to say Osimhen is confused. You know, Napoli, if you ask me, is making things difficult for Napoli, for Osimhen. So it's a very big problem. First of all, the money they place on Osimhen is too high. You know, which club wants to offer such amount for Osimhen? You know, so it takes a lot. You know, Osimhen is a power player, but at the same time, the man needs to settle down so he can be able to move to wherever he's going to. Osimhen, if I were Osimhen, I cannot move to Saudi Arabia because the age is still on my side. Because the impression is the moment you have moved to China or
it means you just you
are on your way to the village. Do you understand when you're talking about the
retirement?
Game? Yeah. So you know, look at Neymar and the rest of them that have moved. Have they come back to Europe? So once you get there, it means that their style of play and strength has really gone down, and those people want to use it to boost their game. So that's what we are talking about. Thank you.
It's been a wonderful time here, I must tell you, and of course, this is where we'll call it a wrap on today's edition of Sports Personality. Many thanks to Mbakalo for coming by. Ekpo Temple is my name. We'll be back again next week for another beautiful moment, but stay locked on us.